Greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, and our newest dungeon dweller here at the Monastery of Mayhem, Mistress Tiger. And that is a quite stunning outfit that you have on.
Thank you. It's my Mad Hatter feeling. I feel awfully mad today in a good way.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not going there. It's like sexual harassment. No, not doing that. We're not the other guy. We're not the hack. So sexual harassment will not be tolerated, but it may be graded. All right, so we may grade that shit later on. But no, Mistress Tiger I contacted her through some mutual friends at Facebook's, and we were lucky to get her. And you know, we hope to see some of our other friends through Facebook, you know, Inferna, Lady Torrid, Ash, where the rest of you. But we know that you all have other things to do, and, you know, I know that a couple of you have new grandbabies to deal with, you know, your grandmas. Who knew? You know, it's like, now I can use the phrase gilf and get away with it.
Silver fox.
Well, yeah, I
Not quite.
Yeah, well, no, it's like, thank God for hair dye, you know, otherwise Brother Jack would look like the poster boy for Grecian formula over here. But no, so we understand completely, girls. We miss you, we love you, and, you know, hurry back soon. But anyway, Brother James is not here today, unfortunately, and he does send his deepest regrets because he wanted to definitely meet Mistress Tiger, and, you know, it isn't the Angry Brothers without old Brother James being here and his brand of craziness. But anyway, we have a really great film for you today, faithful followers. This is going to be The Indestructible Man, starring Lon Chaney. This is from 1958. It starred Lon Chaney, as you know, who was famous for the role of the Wolfman. He was in Spider Baby. He did Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and the Wolfman, and a slew of other horror films. Obviously, the name Lon Chaney, you know exactly who he is, unless you've lived under a rock for I don't know how long. Basically, the story, the plot of the movie is a convict wrongly accused is executed, dies in the electric chair in San Quentin prison. His body is later stolen by a mad scientist, or a scientist, I don't know how mad he is, who does experiments on him to bring him back to life. But with a twist, he comes back to life in a totally indestructible state. You can't burn him, you can't blow him up, you can't do anything. I mean, this guy's like Superman with a really pissed off attitude. You know, he goes on to run amok, trying to capture or trying to get even with the people who framed him, including his unfaithful dancer girlfriend. Not that I'm saying anything bad about dancers. You know, we love our friends who we love our friends who work the poles and, you know, and at clubs. And speaking of clubs, it's like, yeah, I heard we lost a club here in Omaha recently.
Yes, we just lost the 20s. They just closed down, and all the girls who had been working there for a while and all of their family. I remember seeing it on Facebook. There was a beautiful post where they were putting their drinks together, cheersing, and having their last drink and saying goodbye to everybody. But yes, they are no longer around anymore.
Moment of silence, people. You know, so, and all the girls who worked at the 20s, they were managed to find employment at the last club here in Omaha.
The last club here in Omaha is the American Dream now, and that's over on 74th and Ave. But yes, all of the dancers from the 20s have gone over there, and there's still a couple familiar faces for American Dream over there as well.
Well, Brother Jack and Brother James will definitely have to make an expedition over there to see what's going on. We'll be in disguise. We'll be in civilian attire, of course, and in disguise. So, you know, Casey, I understand Casey, the owner, added another shift to accommodate all the girls.
Yes, there is a day shift now from 3 until 8, and then again you will have a new shift in from 8 until 2. So then the bar is open back up, and they have the 2 levels of the strip club, I believe. So the basement now is open up and the upstairs. So they have a lot going on in there now.
No, we'll definitely have to check them out, faithful followers, and we hope you will too. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and get started with the movie The Indestructible Man, starring Lon Chaney, here on the Angry Brother Omaha Shockorama. From myself and Mistress Tiger, enjoy, and we'll see you at the break. Anything you want to add?
Yes, we'll see you after the break.
Okay, excellent.
I was dictating the wrap-up on the Butcher Benton package. I'm Lieutenant Dick Chasen. This hadn't been a routine case, and to find the answer, I've had to put a lot of little pieces together. It began on the day most cases can be called closed. It was the day before the butcher was to be executed. He was visited by his attorney, Paul Lowe, in the death house. It was at this first meeting the Butcher Benton case took its first switch.
Well, that's it, Butcher. The evidence against you was so strong, the governor turned down your appeal.
You're a rotten liar, Lowe. You started right, and now you're still trying to throw me curves.
Look, I don't blame you for being edgy, but get this straight. I didn't double-cross you. I never worked harder for a client.
You mean you never worked harder for a client to get him sentenced?
You were a fool, Butcher. If you hadn't tried to double-cross Squeamy Ellis and Joe Marcelli, they wouldn't have turned state's evidence against you. But you had to get greedy. You wanted to keep the whole $600,000 for yourself. Well, the boys got sore, and I don't blame them.
It was all your idea. You planned the whole job. You hired us. When you found out I'd staged the money, you decided it was time for me to die. You got those two crumbs to turn state's evidence on me. You stinking rotten mouthpiece.
We both know that isn't true, Butcher. Now, look, what's the sense in not giving me the money? It's not going to do you any good.
Well, I'll have the satisfaction of knowing that none of you three crumbs are going to spend it.
What about Eva? Don't you owe her something? You tell me where the money is, I'll see that she gets your share.
I've got a different idea. I'm going to kill you and Squeamy and Joe. Then I'll take care of Eva myself.
You thick-headed ape, you're going to die tomorrow.
Remember what I said. I'm going to get you, all three of you.
Even for you, Butcher, that'd be quite a trick. So long, dead man.
Remember what I said. I'm going to kill you, all three of you.
Well, welcome back, faithful followers. What do you think of The Indestructible Man so far? I mean, Lon Chaney getting electrocuted and then being brought back as this crazed killer who can't be shot, can't be blown up, can't be burned or anything. I mean, what will kill him? We don't know at this point. So, that remains to be seen. Now, a little bit of trivia, and Mistress Tiger, I think you're going to enjoy this. The woman who plays his love interest, Vivian, well, actually, the girl he was doing everything for, but she's hopping into bed with the cop who was investigating the case, and his partner, the one who got him sent to the electric chair anyway. It's like, hey, there's a great relationship right there. I mean, that's a relationship based on mutual trust. All we can say is two thumbs, way, way up. She was actually played by the actress Joan Hart, who was reasonably popular with, she worked the studio circuit in Hollywood in the late 40s through the late 60s, doing bit parts. She was an accomplished dancer and showgirl. This part she did play an exotic dancer, although then it was called burlesque, and they did like the fan dances and everything,
the fan dances and
like that. Which and what's your opinion on that, Mistress Tiger? I mean, the state of exotic dance now, as opposed to like back then. I mean.
Oh wow, the mouthful. Oh, I feel that there's just this concept that dancing, exotic dancing, is just pull moves and body muscle work, and That's great, but when it comes down to it, are you doing the same 10 moves every single song? Or are you able to say, oh no, I hurt my arm. I can't get on that pole that day and I'm going to be able to dance. I almost miss the beauty of burlesque because they actually had to have a show. They actually had to entertain, and it wasn't about everything you could see.
It was more...
The peeping, the beauty and sexuality of...
It was more enticing to conceal than to reveal.
Just to just pull it all out there and just, yes.
Well, I mean, it's like, and do you think that's more of a male-driven thing?
I mean, not quite. You have to say that males and females are equal on this aspect, because if males hadn't pushed to be like, we'll pay more, but if females hadn't taken off more and decided that, we can leave more on whether we're being pushed or not, it could still be considered sexy.
Well, that's it. So it's more about the tease than actually showing. As far as the burlesque aspect, I mean, and yes, the pole work today is, some of the pole work, I mean, is very exotic and very involved. I mean, the moves on the pole, but yeah, that does take a lot of body strength, and an injury to an arm or a shoulder would probably prevent that. I mean, I do know, we have several of our friends, dancers like Kayla Cleavage, Nina Hartley, Vanessa Del Rio, and these were adult film actresses from the 80s and 90s into the 2000s, what was considered the golden age of adult film, and many of them were feature dancers. They worked the national circuits, going to the big clubs and appearing there and dancing several shows a night, in addition to the film work, or maybe when the film work was slow. So, again, there's a lot of different traditions there, I think. And burlesque, as we know, with our friends, the Hot Tail Honeys, and a few of the other local troops, I mean, it is still surviving. It still is existing. Although, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of the Hot Tail Honeys.
Actually, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've got to look into that.
Yeah, it's like, and they do the stage shows and kind of the theme shows and things like that. And they have an MC, our good friend C.J. Bergner, who travels with them, and he interacts with the girls in a comedic manner, and he entertains the audience much like a stand-up comedian or like an MC would do. So again, the burlesque genre is alive and well throughout the country. But and Joan Hart, her performance, I mean, there was some scandal associated with it because of the fact she was an exotic dancer. She actually did perform at many Los Angeles clubs, including the Kit Kat Room and several others. There was one, it was actually called, and I kid you not, people, it was called the Peekaboo Lounge. But it was and in that time, in the 50s in California, these were considered true gentlemen's clubs. You didn't see women in there. They actually had a guy at the front door who would, live nude girls, like, 10 beautiful girls, 14 beautiful costumes. And they would sit out there and be almost a carnival barker to get people to come inside. But women were not, encouraged to go into those places. They were considered the bastions of men only. Men would come in after work, They would have you could get food there, maybe a nice meal, because many of the clubs did have full kitchens. You would have your martinis with your dinners. You would watch the shows. You would, whistle and clap and catcall the girls and whatever, and then you went home to your families at the end of the day. So it was considered a gentleman's pursuit. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like nowadays it's like, everybody stops by the strip club on the way home from work and, drops a few dollars here and there, and, things really haven't changed that much. But, we're big fans of the exotic dancers today and 50 years ago. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so support your local clubs, support your local dancers, I don't know what the club owners pay these days, but, it's like, they still need your tips.
These girls work off tips.
Yes.
That's what they're working off of. These girls need to be tipped. When you're coming in and watching them, and you're not tipping, please understand, they're not getting paid really for that. They're up there working for 6 to 7 hours dancing, and they get to walk home with that tip, and they have people to tip out as well. So they depend on your tips.
So yes, so again, you know, if you're going to go to one of those clubs in your local area, be generous. Tip your dancers, tip your wait staff, tip your bartender, because that's where their money comes from. But we're going to get back to the show. Indestructible Man, starring Lon Chaney, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shockorama. Myself, Brother Jack Angry, and Mistress Tiger. So enjoy.
Enjoy your show.
After all, the butcher was dead, and if I got lucky, sooner or later I figured Paul Lowe would lead me to the stolen payroll. In a way, that possibility made me even feel better.
It's not fair to watch the show from backstage.
Next time I'll pay admission.
I take it by that remark you like my routine.
Yeah, you're pretty good. What I can't figure out, though, is why you stay in a place like this. It shouldn't be hard for someone like you to get a job in a class spot.
If you weren't a detective, I'd be willing to bet with a line like that your next remark would be, how about dinner?
Well, not exactly dinner, but a hamburger might be a good idea.
If you're asking in an official capacity, I can't say no.
I'm off duty.
For the past 6 months, all I've ever called you is Lieutenant Chasen. Do you have a first name?
Uh-huh. Dick.
Give me 10 minutes for a quick change, because you just made yourself a date, Lieutenant. I mean...
Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, along with Mistress Tiger. What did you think of The Indestructible Man, starring Lon Chaney? It basically took the thing that killed him, a massive jolt of electricity, to basically stop him. Even fire couldn't do it, but you run about 10 million volts through his ass, you're going to get the job done. And that's what they did when he was up on that tower, and they ran it between the 2 power poles and just fried the shit out of him. You know, it's like, that was one crispy critter when they were done with him. But it was, you know, for its time, it was actually a little bit of trivia about this movie. It was banned in many theaters throughout Utah, the Midwest, and the southern areas, the Bible Belt, because of the fact that the idea of a man being brought back by shocking his ass with massive jolts of electricity, oh my God, that was sacrilege. 2 words, people, Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein's bride.
There you go.
All of it.
They were shocking the shit out of people all over the place with that. And these local religious groups, they had set themselves up as film authorities. So what would happen before a film would be given the right to play in a local theater in that area, they would have a private screening, and if they didn't like the film, well, they wouldn't let it be shown in this theater. And you actually had to go to, and it was usually the local pastor or minister or even the local priest of the diocese who was leading these groups. So theater distributors and filmmakers would have to bring their copies of these films to these people to show, to make sure that they met community decency standards.
Goodness.
Yeah, what a bunch of shit, huh, people? You know, it's like, that'd be like me wanting to get my show on the air, having to bring it to the red-headed lab coat wearing hack. Is this okay? You know, it's like, here's my response to that, you know? Yeah, and it's like if Brother James were here, he'd say, fuck you. Can I get a fuck you from everybody out there?
Just a big, huge fuck you.
Yes. I like it when she says that.
Just a big, huge fuck you.
Oh, yeah. Great. And so, yes, we do drop the F-bomb here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shockorama. If you're just now figuring that out, where the hell you been? We've been doing this for 5 years, people. We're toning it down today because this is Mistress Tiger's first day. We don't want to scare her off.
Oh no, Mistress Tiger doesn't want to scare you off. I've got a mom mouth. If any of you know what that means, mom mouths are bad.
Wait a minute, I'm dealing with a fantasy here. Hold on, let me just tie this one off. Okay, all right, great. Okay, I had to get that out of the way. I mean, yeah, do you wear that outfit when you deal with your kids?
Oh yeah, you know, sitting there with the crop. If you guys don't start picking up your toys.
Ooh, pick me, pick me. It's like, and I know some parts of Omaha where you'd pay damn good money for that action too. So it's like, you know, we're all about the crops, the whips, and the paddles here. I mean, we're a kinky bunch of bastards here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. If you didn't figure that out, again, you're not paying attention. And remember our motto, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
I actually like that one a lot.
That's the credo we live by. And, you know, that and the original brown coat motto, we aim to misbehave. You know, that's a little reference for you Firefly fans out there. I know you're out there. It's like, I know who watches this show. You know, nerds. But anyway, the movie Indestructible Man actually had a really hard time being shown in theaters in the southern and the southwestern part of the country. In Los Angeles, where the film was made, it premiered to a red carpet gala with Lon Chaney, Abbott Costello, Vincent Price, all the big notables of the day came out, and it got really actually very good reviews. The theater owners of the Southwest, and particularly in Utah, believe it or not, Utah, the film was almost universally banned in the state of Utah because of the idea that, oh, bringing a man back to life is against the ideas of, it was blasphemy. It was literally, that was the reason that was on the rejection forms, is blasphemy. You know, yeah, it's like, I'm reminded of the words of Jack Nicholson as the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman, wait till they get a load of me. But, so that movie was pretty much shut out in certain areas of the country, which was common with many films. The original Blob was Steve McQueen. For some reason, it was banned throughout New England. I don't know why. I mean, it's like maybe they had a problem with this big protoplasmic mass eating everyone, you know. Maybe something sexual, who knows? We don't know. But it was universally banned. The Exorcist, as a matter of fact, was banned throughout Georgia, Tennessee, and Louisiana because of the outright satanic, you know, yeah, exactly. And I guess Linda Blair's head spinning around and spewing green vomit didn't help any either, you know. It's like,
parents couldn't go to sleep well at night. They're like, no.
Yeah, but the kids, they loved it, you know. It's like, oh yeah! The only thing is, with The Exorcist, I remember having memories about that movie personally, is that white-faced demon that they would flash on the screen for like a second. That scared the holy dog shit out of me. They would just flash this white face with the dark eyes and like fangs in its mouth, and it was just a second. They would just show it for a second. It was there and it was gone, but it would stick with you. And I remember the first time I saw that movie, I think I stayed up for like 3 weeks, you know, couldn't go to sleep at all. You know, I know, Brother Jack's a bit of a pussy, but who knew? But anyway, we're going to be bringing you another great movie next week, and that is going to be the 1980 found footage, one of the first found footage movies, Cannibal Holocaust. And you're going to want to see this, people, because the director, Didario Dedra, basically he was arrested by the Italian government when their film censorship board saw this movie. They were convinced that Didario had murdered several of his actors during the filming of this because of the utter grotesqueness of the features. The special effects, even though they were low budget, they were totally over the top, and this film censorship board was convinced he'd murdered several of his actors. So the minute he landed in Italy after shooting in the Amazon, he was taken into custody and held in an Italian prison in Rome for 7 days until they could round up the rest of the actors and have them show ID and birth certificates that they were in fact the actors and that they were alive before he would be released. So that film totally fucked everybody up. And, you know, and you'll know why when you see the films. And I am going to you know, prepare you. There is some really grotesque footage in this film, but we're going to be bringing you that next week. Cannibal Holocaust here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. Enjoy. Anything
Joy.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like I didn't mean to
2
cut you.
seconds later.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off
Oh,
there,
no.
but you know, from myself and Mistress Tiger, enjoy and unpleasant dreams.